Hi, welcome to the Walk to End Alzheimer's Boot Camp fundraising. A few things I want to note that all lines are muted. Note that this session is being recorded and will be shared. Please use the chat box to introduce yourself and your team. We will allow time at the end of the session for question and answers. And then also, please, throughout the presentation, utilize the chat box for any questions that you may have, and we'll have an all-staff partner addressing your questions throughout the presentation today. Today's topic is all about fundraising. We'll touch on how to growing and fundraising friends and family teams, growing and fundraising company teams, as well as local support and tools that we provide for you, and questions. Now I'd like to introduce to you today's boot camp coaches, Deb Mazza-Scanlon with Team Deb Mazza-Scanlon Family and Friends, as well as Anne-Marie Kelly with Team Edward Jones. So I'll kick it off to Deb.
Thanks, Catherine, and I am extremely excited to be here today. So just a quick, just to share with you why I walk. I walk in memory of my dad who suffered from Lewy body's dementia, and to watch him deteriorate before my eyes when living with my family was extremely difficult. This will be my 4th year walking with the Worcester County Walk2End Alzheimer's, and in that time, my team has raised over $115,000. So I'm excited to share with you 10 ways to grow your team and 10 fundraising ideas. So to grow your team, so the most important thing is to show your passion. Why are you doing this? Share your experience. If you have walked in the Worcester County Walk or any walk, share your experiences with that. My first experience in doing this, that Promise Garden ceremony, was incredibly powerful to me, and I share that with everyone. So number one is show your passion, because everybody loves to see something that you love, and frankly, passion is very, very contagious. The second thing I'd say is, ask your entire family to register. Register, your mom, your kids, your dad, whoever. Just ask your entire family to register, and then make a self-donation. And for me, I allow no $0 on my team. So what that means is I had about 30 people on my team, or have about 30 people on my team, and if I see somebody that has like $0, I will do a couple of things. One, I might make the donation for them, and it could be $5, or I would ask them to, can you spend, what you spend on coffee for the day to your as a self-donation. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It can be $1. As long as it's not zero, it's something. So I have no zeros on my team. The third thing I'd say is ask your family and friends to share either your walk page or their walk pages. So share, especially with your walk page. So just share everything that you are experiencing, but most importantly, ask them to share your walk page, and from there, people can register. I have people on my team that, frankly, I don't even know who they are personally, but I've had friends share my page, and with doing that, I have some members on my team that I've never even met. So that was kind of pretty cool. This is one that I did when I say engage your kids' sports team. My son plays hockey. So as we try to do a lot of team camaraderie things. So lots of times we go to restaurants and eat after games. But for this event, I asked my kids' parents to let's have them all together at the walk. Let's do a team event. And so they were all very engaged. They wanted to support my son. His teammates wanted to support their teammates. So with that, they all registered for our walk. So I think I had 20 kids register that year, and then I just taught them how to share their pages. Like the parents share the kids' pages on their Facebook pages. So who doesn't want to support a kid's efforts, right? So that was a really fun one to do. Engage your team members. So with that, I would say communicate. communication is really key. Your team wants to hear from you as the captain. For me, I send emails. I rally them in, kudos to, raising however much they may have raised. So it's really important to communicate. So with that, you want to rally your team. I do a tailgate at the walk. And what that means is like, I have a table that I bring coffee and bagels and whatever. And my team prior to the walk gets together, and it's just a great way to get everybody geared up for something. But you don't have to do that at the walk. You can actually do it whenever. So get them all hyped up to participate in something that's really incredible. Do team shirts, which is another thing that you can do. The next thing I'd say is share your team's goal progress. So if you set a goal for, let's say, $15,000, periodically communicate to the team via an email or text or whatever, and share the progress with them. Share the, so for instance, you can do, like if you raise $10,000 as a team, we're $10,000 as a team and we have $5 more thousand to go. Who's in? Stuff like that. So the team loves it, and it kind of creates a little bit of competition amongst each other, which is kind of fun. The next one I'd say, share your content. There's no need to there's no need to recreate anything. So for me, what I do is I do a lot of sharing of my content, and when it's I don't know, it could be powerful stuff, but I would share it with my team and just say, copy what I'm doing, make it a little personal to you is what I would tell them, but there's no need to recreate the wheel, just do what I do. And that has been very, very successful amongst my teammates. Socialize, share updates on social media. I'm a huge social media proponent and I love sharing updates. It's easy to do, it's a push of a button. And from that, sometimes I'll tag a team member and so they can see it and maybe they want to replicate it on their pages. And then organize events via places that you frequent. I belong to a gym that has been extremely supportive of my family and my efforts for this cause. So we have put together pre-COVID. Now that post-COVID's kind of here, we can probably do this again. But we did a workout for 45 minutes, and anybody that wanted to join the workout as a team organization event, they had to make a donation, and it could be any amount. A minimum of $35 got them a t-shirt. So, those are just my top 10 of things that have been successful in growing my family and friends team. So, yeah, that's what I would share. So let's take that a little next step further. And let's talk about some fundraising ideas. So I talked about letter writing. So when this is really important, people love thank you. So, a very simple thing to do is write a letter. And you can use your walk page. It's kind of like a back office that has, automated templates in there, so you can use one of those or create your own and just send a letter, either write it or send it via email. Then social media I talked about, let social media work for you. It's a click of a button. You don't have to ask anything, just share what you're doing and invite people to your walk. There are company matching programs. So if your company or somebody that's made a donation, ask them to ask their company if they do a company match program. Collecting cans for deposits. My niece does this, and she goes out every, I think, Wednesday because she knows that the recycle is going out the next day. So she'll go around and collect cans for deposits. And whatever she does is at the end of her collection, she makes the donation and I'll match the donation. So it's a very simple thing to do. Excuse me. Get crafty. I need to take a drink, sorry. If you're a person that likes to do crafts, put it around an Alzheimer's event. So do something where, you can do bracelets, you can do, I don't know, T-shirts, and anybody that makes a donation gets one of these things that you've made. A dine and donate is, again, if you have a local restaurant, I know that we have, some very, very charitable organizations within our city that, you can do, you go to a pizza, eat pizza one night, ask them if they'll donate a percentage of the proceeds. Raffle baskets are huge. If you're a person that's crafty and likes to make raffle baskets, I actually have a woman that I know that that makes these chocolate baskets, and so I may ask her to donate one of them, and anybody that buys a raffle gets the basket. Treats in the office for donations with a donation can. Bring in donuts when you get back to the office, bagels or whatever, candy. Keep a donation can next to the treats that would be brought into the office when everybody's back into the office. Host an event. That could be anything. That could be, I don't know, a jewelry party. That could be a paint night. That could be, there's so many different things, but think of things that, you like to attend and ask for donations of that, or don't even ask for donations, put the donation can out. If you're not comfortable asking for donations, a donation can is the way to go there too. And then, get kids involved and ask to match their efforts. So my nieces and nephews I actually had my nieces and nephews and then another family, they did these lemonade stands. Now, while lemonade stands may not be the thing to do at this point in time, you can do anything, painted rocks or whatever. Everybody loves to help when kids are passionate about something. And my family kids did a lemonade stand, and at one year, this year they're going to actually do rocks, paint rocks, and or I call them kindness rocks. And whatever they raise in that effort, ask those who you're sharing that information or that event with, whether it be Facebook or whatever, to match their efforts. So if they raise $50, I match the effort. And doing that, I think I received, I don't know, maybe $300 in donations just by people being generous and wanting to match the donations of kids making the effort. So those would be my top 10 fundraising ideas. But again, make them your own. And these are just some pictures or some visuals of what those ideas look like. So, and now I'd like to introduce someone who has excelled in both growing her team and uses actually some of the fundraising ideas that I just mentioned, someone who I admire tremendously and have learned a great deal from, and someone who I would definitely call my friend. So I'd like to welcome Karen Dobson, the team captain of Grammy's Groupies, to share her insights and story. Karen?
Hi, thanks, Deb. Really what I want to start with is why we walk and how we started. We walk very similar to the reason that Deb's team walks. We walk from my mom, and my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's dementia June 1st of 2009. And my mom walked with us for 9 years. And my mom passed away from Alzheimer's dementia on June 1st of 2018. So she was a very instrumental person on our team. And I think one of the main reasons that we were able to get so many people involved, and especially our littles, we call them our littles, all our younger kids in the family. So this will be our 11th year walking. To date, we've raised just over $80,000 as a team. I think some of the things that we've done really do replicate some of the things that Deb had mentioned as far as fundraising. we do a direct mailing, and truthfully, our direct mailing goes to everybody on our Christmas card list. So we send everybody a letter with a picture of last year's team, a picture of my mom, and just what this walk means to us, and that their participation and dedication year after year has been truly appreciated, and how it's helped us as a group to raise the money that we've raised. And we get a really good response from those direct mailings. We also do, we put it in the church bulletin, where our family is very active at church. So every year we put it in our church bulletin, Grammy's groupies, if you'd like to make a donation. We put the social media information, as well as a mailing address for them to mail. A lot of our donors are older folks who would prefer to write a check than try to figure out how to get on Facebook. So, we get a lot of checks that way, but through our church bulletin. We do Facebook, which I think I really started more after Deb talked about how Facebook was working for her. So we have done Facebook these last couple of years, and it's been instrumental in helping us raise money. We also have done a toll road in Auburn, which is where I live, and it's coordinated with the Auburn Knights of Columbus and the Auburn Police Department, where there's two major intersections near the Auburn Mall. And we actually stand out we've got all our signage. Catherine has been gracious enough to lend us some of the signage for the walk. We all wear our Grammys Groupie shirts, and all the kids are stationed at stores with a parent, and all of the adults are down at the intersections with buckets. And as cars go through, it's a voluntary toll. So we raised, when we did that, we didn't do it last year because of COVID, but the year before we did it, and we raised, I think it was like almost $3,500 just with that one fundraiser. And we were out for like 4 hours, which is what the police department would allow. So, it was a phenomenal event. Everybody loved it. It was a hands-on thing. The kids were running up and down the streets with the buckets, and it really turned out to be a great fundraiser, and we are hopeful that that's going to be able to be done again this year. We've also done collections at stores. The kids stand out with their cans, and like Deb had mentioned, people find it hard to resist a child, especially when they're sitting there with their little can and their smile and their Grammy's Groupie shirt with pom-poms. So we do have luck that way as well. So what we do is, as far as how we grow our team, we really use this day as a celebration of my mom, always have. This was a bigger day than her birthday for us. We considered the walk a true celebration of who she was, and who she had become, and how meaningful she is in our lives. And that's what we've continued. And truthfully, we've over the years, we started off with just a couple littles, and the littles are my mom's great grandchildren. So that's who all those little ones sitting on the wall. Those are her great grandchildren. And, when we started off back in, I think 2010 was our first walk. When we started off then, our littles, there was only a couple of them, and through the years, more and more children have joined the forces. And once we mention Grammy's Groupies, everybody gets excited. We wear our Grammy's Groupie shirts, whether it's an event for the walk, if it's anything to do with my mom. If it's an anniversary mass said for my mom at the church, the kids all show up with the Grammy Groupie shirts. Everything that we do to honor my mom, we wear those shirts. And for the kids, it's just a real connection, because truthfully, a lot of the little ones don't really have the memories of my mom that obviously the older kids do. So it's a real way to celebrate her, to make her ever present with us, and just to share her goods, her spirit. The doll behind me, the Raggedy Ann doll, my mom over the years, that was one of her signature things. She made a minimum of a couple hundred Raggedy Ann dolls over the years. And all of her dolls she gave them for charity. If people were having a raffle for a good cause, if people, were having a dinner and they were going to have, like a door prize, things like that. So she made oodles and oodles of Raggedy Ann dolls. And so as my mom's years were coming to an end, we realized that obviously she hadn't made these dolls in several years. So we started collecting back some of the dolls that she had given to friends and people over the years. So now that all of our littles have a Raggedy Ann doll that was made by my mom, and a lot of the girls bring the Raggedy Ann dolls to the walk. And again, just as a memento of my mom. So I think that as far as our next generation, what we always say is that we are walking for a future free from Alzheimer's and dementia for Grammy's little groupies. We know that in all likelihood for my generation as her daughter, there probably won't be a cure in my generation, or there may not be. We hope there would be, but there may not be. But we're hopeful for her grandchildren, who are the young adults standing in this picture, and for her great-grandchildren, who again are most of the children on the wall. We're hopeful that there is a future free from Alzheimer's dementia for Grammy's little groupies. And that's really what motivates us, what gives us the push year after year, and the love of my mom. We do it for her. So I think it's a dual effort at this point, for her memory and also for the future of her great-grandchildren. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, I think.
That's great. Thank you so much, Karen. I loved everything you said. I especially loved that you used the walk day as a memorial for your mom. That's really special. So Grammy's Groupies is obviously a very engaged group. So Karen is a great resource for creating that team engagement. Today, I'm going to be talking about company teams, how to get more engagement out of companies, and how you can fundraise with companies. I am a volunteer for the walk. I am also with Edward Jones. Edward Jones is a national presenting sponsor. So we feel really passionate about it at Edward Jones because the Alzheimer's Association mission closely aligns with our mission. And so it's something that we're all very engaged with. Because we're a national presenting sponsor, they don't require us to participate like on a personal level as much. But even with that, we have, just in our region alone, we have 10 teams. And so today we're just going to talk about how to create that company engagement. Obviously, the number one way is to start early. It really is a numbers game. So the more people you ask, the more are going to participate with you, whether it's a donation or just being involved with the walk and creating awareness. You could have an internal company kickoff. I know starting like March, I don't know, it may even be before, we send out company emails. They'll include pictures of our branches painted purple, not actually painted purple, but with a bunch of purple stuff all over it for the Alzheimer's Association. And it's kind of like a challenge of who can have the most purple in their office. And it's cute. It creates some company engagement, and these emails get sent out all throughout up until walk day. So it's really cool to see how each branch participates more and more throughout the years. Grow beyond your department. Also, like, incorporate other companies. So you can make a challenge between you and other companies, or you and another department. You could have a Go Purple Day. That's really cool because it really creates awareness. People ask questions when they come into your office and it's not normally painted purple and they see everything purple, they start to ask questions. So that's a great way to create some awareness, some engagement. Include a blurb in the company newsletter. Stories are so impactful. They move people. They actually create action within people. So share your story if you have a company newsletter or something that email that goes out to other employees. Share your story. Make it fun. Offer incentives. people love free stuff. Who doesn't love something free? So offer something free, or create a challenge. People love, I personally love challenges, kind of competitive. Create a team QR code. Make it easy for people. Make it easy, make it easy, make it easy. The easier it is, the more people will sign up and join you in your endeavor. Also, people need reminders, so that those emails that we send out all throughout the summer, they really create a lot of engagement, because people, like, think of yourself. You don't always take action on the first time somebody says something, but when they send another reminder, you're like, oh yeah, I need to do that. And then a third reminder, you're like, oh, I really need to do that. And then that fourth one, they're like, all right, now is the time. I'm just gonna do it already. So you could also set up a table during the lunch hour and provide Alzheimer's resources. I'll talk more about Alzheimer's resources in a bit. Plan a walking group, and also lead by example. When you are more engaged, other people will naturally be more engaged. All right, so let's talk about some company fundraising ideas. As I mentioned earlier, Go Purple. This is a great way to get the conversation started. If you're somebody who doesn't like to bring up the conversation, then it's naturally going to bring it up for you. People are going to be like, why is everything purple? Go casual for a cause. Charge people a fee or a donation for being able to wear casual clothes for a day or a week. Forget-me-not fundraiser. You can set up a stand and pass out forget-me-nots in exchange for a donation. Seeds or flowers, whatever. You could create a CEO challenge. You could do raffle baskets. If you're a restaurant, you could have a meal or for a certain period of time, or you could have a single day where anybody who goes there, you give a portion back to the Alzheimer's Association or your team. You can make it a team building activity. In the next slide, we'll see some pictures and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but you could have live and silent auctions. We have done this at Edward Jones, and this was a really great success. We just had people donate certain items and baskets and create an auction. It was really fun. We did it through Zoom and it was really pretty cool. You could have a bake sale. I think that the bake sales and the forget-me-not fundraising are great ways. If you are not good at asking for donations, you don't like it, it feels very uncomfortable for you, this would be a way where you're exchanging something. So you're not necessarily just asking for a donation. You're saying, if you want whatever this is, then you feel free to make the donation of your choice. Reserved parking spot fundraisers. I really like this. You can charge people a fee for getting prime parking for maybe a week or a day. You could do a company picnic or raffle. So the next slide is going to show you, so paint night, you could do something like that, or create some sort of fun event where you are charging a little bit extra and that goes to your team. You could have other team building activities where you're making shirts or you're drawing with chalk to create more awareness. You could have a table at work. Something that is really important to know, that you're not solely responsible for generating all of the material that you need in order to create a table like this. You have people to help you. So I do want to talk about the support you have. There are many staff partners to help you in your needs. They'll give you stuff like the forget-me-not seeds or flowers, forget-me-not flowers, casual for cause stickers, buttons, pens, bracelets, a ton of stuff. And all you need to do is reach out to them. One of those staff partners is with us today. Her name is Catherine Larry. You could reach out to her and she would be happy to help you in any of that. Yeah, that is all I have. So I am going to pass it back over to Deb to just talk about our next boot camp.
Thanks, Anne Marie. That was awesome, and certainly gave me some things to think about with my own work whenever I get back there. But even if I'm virtual, there's still so many things we can do. So I want to thank you for joining us today, and we hope we provided you with some helpful information. Our next boot camp will be on August 11th at, I believe, 12 p.m. Oh, it says 12 p.m. right on the slide there. Where we will dive deeper into social media fundraising, my favorite. So with that, I will open it up for some questions. Catherine, do we have any questions?
Yeah, we did have a few questions that came through. Actually, one, Karen, was directed to you. How do you continue to stay engaged year over year? And though you're doing it, I'm just responding to this because I think you kind of answered that question, is by making it more of a memorial to your family and friends. But during a difficult time like COVID this past year, how do you keep people motivated?
Excuse me, the way I think keep motivated is just because of who it's for. First of all, it's for my mom. And it's been a dream to get the kids involved, because the kids are constantly asking, when are we doing the Grammys Groupies Walk? When are we going to do, they want to know what's happening with Grammys Groupies, because to them, it's like a party. They think this is fun. So it makes it easier when the kids are so excited and wanting to do something. In fact, they've kind of been pushing me lately. I need to get, kind of get going on this stuff for this year. And they are pretty much at the point of giving me that little nudge that I need to get going. But I think it's just, for me, truthfully, it's the kids, but it's the fact that it's for my mom. And, I think that Deb can relate with the memories of her dad. It's such a, Alzheimer's dementia is such a struggle and such a journey that it really brings you this deep sense of compassion and love for the person in your life that has been affected by this. And to see what my mom literally went through for 9 years, with the very beginning stages and all the different parts of this, gives me the motivation to want to help so that other people don't have that same experience. And and just to honor her. So I'm not sure if I'm answering your question correctly, but I think that would be it's really to honor her and what she went through.
Yeah, so it's remembering why you're walking and communicating that to your team members and to keep them motivated. Thank
Right.
you for sharing that. So I guess with that part of it, the next question that came in that is here is, my family doesn't want to register. How can I get them to support my efforts? Deb, do you want to take a stab at that one?
Yeah, sure. This is, I haven't experienced this only because I just register my family. They have no say. So as the team captain, I'm like, I'm just gonna, we're doing this and you're gonna help me do it. And that's the end of that. But not everybody's me. And I do have some folks that, struggle with this. So, if they don't want to register, what they can do is, one, donate to your cause, to share your walk page, and maybe when they see their friends joining your walk page, they would then, oh, this is my family, for God's sake, why aren't I involved in this? Kind of make them feel bad. So that always works. but you know, families are, you know, there's dynamics in that, right? So, but it really just, you know, just ask them to share it. I mean, it's as simple as that. It costs them nothing, you know, with the exception of hopefully they're donating to you, but to share your family.
Okay. So I think this is kind of similar, but I know, Anne-Marie, you've had this happen to you before. So I'm going to pin this question on you. What should I say to people who want to participate, but they can't attend on walk day?
Yeah, so how much money you got? No, I choose, but so I would offer like packages. I think people like options. So if you did like several different packages, you could say, all right, that's cool. You could walk with us, you could donate, you could participate in the team building activities along the way where we get donations in other ways, or you could find somebody else to take your spot. I'd give them several different options and then say, how would you like to be involved?
No, that's great. And another thing too that's really wonderful with the hybrid piece to it is that we will be having an updated mobile app where participants, if they can't come because maybe they're at a wedding or they have a work event or another obligation that morning, they could still be part of the team, but then log in through the mobile app and walk at a different time. That's another option too. Deb, since you're our fundraising, Facebook fundraiser guru here, I will direct this to you. After I do my Facebook fundraiser, what's my follow-up? And I know we're going to talk more about this in the next session, but if you want to just quickly address that.
Yeah, so I would say 3 things, and we will get into more details at the next at our next boot camp. But after you set up your fundraiser, you want to invite people to it, and that's just you know, again, you go down your list of your Facebook friends, and you just hit invite, and then the second thing would be is to update in your Facebook fundraiser page. So everybody that you invited, every time you do an update, whether it be, I don't know, it could be like how successful a fundraiser was, or you know, share the Alzheimer's content, you know, facts and figures. It could be anything that's relatable to what you're doing here. And then those updates get, you know, pushed out automatically to everybody that's been invited to your Facebook fundraiser, so they can see. It just keeps people engaged and follows you and whatnot. And then the third thing I'd say, and the most important thing, is that anybody that does donate to your Facebook fundraiser, you know, thank them, because people are, one, being generous, and they love when you show gratitude. So, you know, and I would do that individually. So if you have 5 donations that day, you send out 5 separate thank yous. And what happens with that is the people that you invited then see everyone that you are thanking. So it's just repetition, and it's just, I mean, it's a lot, you know, sometimes it's, I don't know, I don't think anybody gets annoyed by that, but I do think it's a reminder to be like, oh, I'll do that later. But every time you do something on the Facebook fundraiser, it sends a reminder to everybody that you invited, oh, I gotta make that donation. So those would be my top 3.
Great, thank you. I think actually all of you could answer this, so whoever wants to jump in, but I've been doing this for a few years now, and I feel like my donations are dwindling. How do I keep my donors engaged? And I know, like, both Karen and Deb, you guys have been fundraising at very high levels for a number of years, and I know not every year it's the same amount, and that's okay, but you still keep at it, and you still keep asking your donors. I don't know if one of you or both of you want to share your answer to that question. Karen, you're speaking. I can unmute.
I'll take a stab at it for a second. I think that, again, it's based on your excitement and your commitment to the different types of fundraising. And I think I've probably shared this story before, but we have people from the church, little old ladies, that will make a donation. And I have a woman every year that makes a donation for $10 because she loves, well, she makes the donation because I think she's supporting the cause, but we always send out a thank you note afterwards. It has a team picture on it, and on the back it's got pictures of all the kids, and every year she gives $10, she gets her thank you, and then we get a thank you for sending her the thank you. So I mean, I think that it's, and that's just a $10 donation, but it's all those little ones that add up. They don't have to be humongous numbers. When we have the kids stand outside of Staples with their cans and they're collecting coins, and they get back to the house and they realize they've got $30 worth of, coin. I mean, it's just, I think the spirit in which you go into it with comes back to you.
One thing I would add to that is, when you do send out your invitations, or however you're going to, whether it be a letter or email or, on your Facebook fundraiser, people have, I guess what I would say is that I recognize there are so many charitable organizations that, you may be passionate about. Can you please make this one of them? And just ask, something like that. And, maybe they, just put aside, $25 of their, I don't know, $200 that they might donate for the year. But just ask, recognizing that there are many organizations that they may support. Would they mind, or would they help you support this one?
Thank you. Okay, we only have 2 more questions and then we'll be wrapping up. I think, Anne-Marie, I'm going to direct this one to you just because it's on the company side, if you're able to answer. It just says that they feel like their colleagues are either too busy or there's not enough interest. I'm a little frustrated. How do I get more people involved with me? And I know we went through that with the top 10, but do you ever have this issue, or have you seen this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are like 2 or 3 things that I would say to keep in mind. The first is, it really is just a numbers game. If you feel uncomfortable, just ask more people, and you'll see that people really do want to contribute. People want to contribute to something more than themselves. And I think you'll find that more people have been affected by this than they're just not sharing it. The other thing I would say is share your story more. Stories are so impactful. It's huge. I remember the first time I sat down with someone and really thought about this, the Alzheimer's disease, in a very different way, because I hadn't had it impact me in a way that other people on the committee have. And I remember it was a thank you event. It was after the first year that I had volunteered with this committee, and a girl had sat down with me and she said, I had this really great relationship with my mom, and all of a sudden it went away. And it just like hit me like a ton of bricks, where I realized, oh my gosh, it's like this person has died and nobody really acknowledges that. And that was huge for me. So sharing stories like that, even though it's not your own story, but sharing stories you've heard from other people, that has been really impactful for me, in order to like get more engagement. And then if you're really uncomfortable with asking for things like that, I would just create a script. Just know what you're going to say and just ask it more. It really is a numbers game. I can't stress that enough.
Coming from Edward Jones, numbers. No. And then I'm gonna Deb, this is the last question that we have, but I'm going to direct this to you because I know you've had success in actually coaching other walkers and volunteers on the walk planning committee. This person is saying that they don't like to ask for money. They always feel awkward asking. How do you ask people for money? They say they make their self-donation every year and that's it. They don't really fundraise. So that's why they join this. They want to know what they can do.
Yeah, this is my favorite too. And I know we will get into this more next time, but the best thing about a Facebook fundraiser is that you're not asking for anything. You're actually sharing with everyone that you're friends with on Facebook. And the reason why they're friends with you on Facebook is because, one, they probably like you, and two, they want to see what's going on in your life. So creating a Facebook fundraiser and just inviting people is all you have to do. So it's actually the push of a button. And what's going to happen is that they're going to follow you and see what you're doing. And they either donate or they don't. For the most part, most people that are following you and care about you are going to donate. So the experience that I had somebody that actually said this. I do my self-donation. I don't do it. I just said, set up your Facebook fundraiser, invite everybody that you're friends with on Facebook, and push a button and don't do anything. And what happens is that the Facebook fundraiser kind of does it itself. And so he went, I believe, from I think he did $150. He raised $150, whether it was a self-donation or not, because then he gets his t-shirt. But he went from $150 that year to $1,500 by just doing that. And that was it. And, just updating, his thing. He's not asking for anything. He's just inviting people to see about something that he has a great passion and care for. So that was it.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us on the call today, and to all of our speakers and coaches. We appreciate you being here, and we wish you guys all of the best in all of your fundraising efforts, and know that the Alzheimer's Association is here to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat.